Okay, this is review of concepts from the third practice, and we're moving along, getting some reps in. Um, First thing I wanted to remind everybody is this transition cycle thing that we did. We've done this with the seventh graders a couple of times, but the older kids, we did it for the first time yesterday, and they seem to struggle with it just a little bit. So just kind of review, basically the organized way to get everybody kind of into the offense and into transition down the court, whether it be a fast break or off of a made basket. We have a really organized way of doing it um, with with the one getting the ball at foul line extended, the two always running right and three always running left, and the five always running to the rim. And it's just something that everybody just kind of has to get used to. And so we run these drills where we, show all the different ways that people can get baskets off a transition, after this initial outlet to the one man. So just to kind of run this through again. See, he just brings it down there and he gives it to the two, who makes the basket, and then going back the other way, the three down that way, and hitting the five for a dunk or whatever our version of a dunk is. And then you can hit the four trailing like that. And I guess one thing we didn't do with the older kids yet, which we'll do the next time, is to get jump shots off of this. And it's pretty logical. I mean, the one will hit the two down there, take the shot. If he wants to hit the three for a shot over there, he's got to dribble a little bit more that way. Everybody's crashing. And then we hit the four from the two for the shot from up there. Just kind of an organized way to get into transition. And then once again, we reviewed just simple pass and cut. Pass, cut, fill. They're starting to get this now, and this is really the circulation of the offense. When I say they, I hope you kids are watching it. You're really starting to get this now. It just makes your life so much easier when you pass and then you cut. When you pass and you go away and you pass, you stand there, you just don't get the ball back often enough, and we don't get enough people going to the rim. So, you get in the habit of doing this, of always passing and cutting. It really makes your offensive life much easier, and they're habits that stay with you the rest of your life. I mean, even as old and crippled as I am, I still get into my men's league games when I used to do them, and just get used to passing and cutting, and you get so much better offense out of it. So we reviewed this again. And then we reviewed again ways that the guy's filling can get there. Right? So if the two is filling the spot and the defender just follows him, just cut. Right? And we reviewed the read line again where, remember, if you're filling, just kind of starts to overplay and even puts 1 foot over the 3-point line, you just automatically basket cut. Reviewed that, drilled that a little bit. And then we took a shot at discussing these Laker cuts. The idea being that if you're posting up, whether you get there from having cut and decided to post up or whether we put you there in the first place, it's still the same thing. If somebody feeds you, we expect them to cut. So if you feed the post, again, it's just one pass away, just cut. You might get the ball right back. You might, clear out the middle. There's always good things that can happen from when you cut. So it's a habit to get into. That as soon as you pass the ball into someone at the post, it's an automatic basket cut. And we drilled that a little bit. So we did a little of that. And one of the reasons that we did that, it sets us up for what we're going to be doing at the next practice. And that's going to be how to deal with zones. So it was good to get these Laker cuts and these, get a post guy in there to show you how this works right from the beginning. One thing we did not get to, which we're going to do in the next practice, it shouldn't take that long, is just kind of the end of this layer of offense. Of giving you more ideas of how to get to the rim. And it's something I talked about in the last video that we were going to do, is this idea of dribble ats. The idea being that if the somebody dribbles at you along the perimeter, you may as well take that as an opportunity to cut to the basket. He might be able to hit you right away, something like that, or it might always be a good idea to just clear out the middle. So again, if somebody dribbles at you, you just go ahead and cut. You see how that works. And we're going to get to that in the next practice. You might be able to hit that guy in a back door. So again, all these ways of getting to the rim. That's really the simple way of putting this whole offense. Just get to the rim. If you're going to dribble there, great. If you're going to pass and you're not going to dribble there, great. Just go ahead and cut there. If you're going to fill spots, which you're supposed to do, and they're overplaying you, may as well just cut to the rim. And if someone dribbles at you, you're not going to do any good just standing there in his way. You may as well just cut to the rim. Maybe you'll get something. And to look ahead, we're going to be talking about how to use the post players and how to use the Laker cuts and how to use the movement of the offense against zones. Because the beauty of this offense and this whole system is it works against anything. It works against man. It works against pretty much any zone. As long as you operate on principle. In other words, as long as you know that whenever you're passing, you're cutting and filling, for the most part, you're running the same thing against either a zone or a man-to-man, which is really, really cool about this offense. There are some tweaks that you have to make for a zone, and that's one of the things we're going to go over because, quite honestly, a lot of the teams we're going to be playing are going to play a zone at one time or another. Whether because we're kicking their butts and they have to play zone, or whether they just like playing zone, or whatever it is. I'm not much of a zone defense guy, but we'll be playing against them, so we may as well learn it. So as we'll go in the next practice, if you guys want to look ahead, this is what you're going to see. As opposed to your normal setup where you have all the 5 guys on the outside, we might just start someone right here in the mid post. Depends on our personnel. But at the very least, what we're going to do is we're going to have our 4 and 5 not be in the corners, but in kind of the short corner. In other words, kind of just off of the low post instead of these corners. And you're going to see why in a second. But the thing to remember is that these perimeter guys, their action is still the same. It's going to be pass and cut. One's are going to pass to the 3 or whatever. He's going to pass and he's going to cut. But the thing is, he's not going to make it all the way to the basket. Right? What he's going to be doing is basically just flushing out the middle and then filling out. We're going to have our post guys kind of cutting to high post and low post to fill these spots. But the action of these top guys is going to be the same. Like you'll see, it's the same thing. I mean, these guys cut and fill, and you see he's going to fill out. But the only difference is we're going to have these guys from the short corners blast to the high post. Okay? So the idea is that we're still flushing out the middle by the 1 passing and cutting, but the 4 and the 5 are going to blast to this high post. Because the high post is a very, very weak part of the zone, so it's a good idea to always attack it. Okay? But same thing. I mean, the ball reverses. Well, he passes it. He's cutting, right? Pass, you must cut. He fills. He fills. And the same thing. So we swing it. It's the same thing. 2's going to cut. 5's going to fill. And then the other post guy is going to blast to the high post. All right. So it's a much easier action actually against the zone. It's the perimeter guys are just passing and cutting the same motion as always, except the post guys, the 4s and the 5s, when you're starting kind of at the short corner, after the middle gets cleared out, you're going to take that as an opportunity to blast to that very weak position, that high post position, that's usually going to be pretty tough to defend. And once you get these 2 guys on the post here like this, then life is easy, because whichever guy that you pass to, the other guy can just dive to the basket. And then life is good. So you pass to him, and you'll be able to find that all day long. So we'll go through that in the next practice, but it's really just kind of a derivative, to use a tough word there, of the Laker cuts we've been working on and the normal pass and cut action we've been working on. So it really is just the same. I mean, you're going to just be passing and cutting from the top. The only difference is we're going to have guys flashing at the high post. So it's pretty much the same. So you kids are all doing great. The passing and cutting is excellent. The movement with layer 2 with the Laker cuts with the post was a little fishy, but we'll get there. And we'll throw in this dribble at. drill, and then we'll end up with an offense. Only a couple of practices that we can work. And once we have an offense, then we can really start building up the defense. Because I didn't want to throw a lot of defensive drills out there unless we had a good offense to work against it. So I'm glad that we're moving along really well, and we got games next week. So we have one practice Monday, and then we're going to see if we've learned anything.